What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. I'm super excited. We are past the holiday weekend, and we've got a special guest with us today. He is an author. He is a TEDx speaker. He's also known as America's only Chief Results Officer. Please welcome Blaine Oelkers to the show. Blaine, thank you for joining us today. I'm super excited for this conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited as well. And I just want to start off by saying thank you for putting this podcast together. This is a lot of work to put it together and record and get online. And you are helping a lot of people live kind of that label-free life. So I want to congratulate you for doing that. And I'm excited today to hopefully maybe share a few things about about results and maybe some head trash and some habits. And we'll see where it goes, but I'm excited to serve.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. Yes, it is a lot of work. It's a labor of love for sure, but I love connecting with incredible people like yourself and making an impact in the world. So before we started recording, you talked about hacking your head trash. Now, you are America's only Chief Results Officer. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what that means before we get into these other subjects.
Yeah. So I had a couple of moments of dawning comprehension, right, where the light bulb goes off. And I had two of those, and that kind of led me to become this Chief Results Officer, and then America's only Chief Results Officer. But back in college, I went to Purdue University in actually not too far from you in West Lafayette, Indiana. Yeah. And but when I was there, I've always been kind of a seeker, and I think you and the listeners always kind of like, seeking knowledge. How can I get better? And I saw this little ad for a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It was an audio tape, so I sent away for it, and then I got the book and I read the book. And what happened to me there in college is I realized, and later I made a little saying, why table, what you think about, you bring about. But I realized that I could take my thoughts and kind of turn them into reality. And that was the first kind of where I started to take control of the direction of my life. And then the second moment of dawning comprehension came a little later when I was working as a software engineer for a company. And I came back from a business trip. And my son, Bo, he was 1 year old at the time. And I got back from this business trip, and then he kind of like gave me the cold shoulder. I was like, Beth, why is Bo giving me the cold shoulder? And she says, well, you were gone so long, he kind of forgot who you were. And I was like, whoa, that kind of like hit me kind of emotionally pretty hard. And I realized when I was a kid, I'd come home to an empty house. Both my parents worked. Yeah. Anyway, so that night I made this clarifying decision that no matter what, I was going to work from home. I was going to be like the work from home dad, right? So it took me a year, and I started a couple of businesses, but it took me a year. But a year later, I broke free from the job forever, and I became this work from home dad. And that was 27 years ago. And so what happened is I started working from home. Now, when I got rid of the job and the corporate lifestyle, all of a sudden, like that was like 50, maybe 60 hours a week, like with the drive time and all the stuff. And so I really started to have more time to kind of discover, who am I? Why am I here? Why did God put me on the planet? And I realized that it was to help people take control of their lives by taking control of themselves, something I call self-fluence, which is the power you already have to influence yourself. And so I started doing this. I started a company that does that called Self-Fluence. And then friends of mine were starting mastermind groups, and they said, look, why don't you be our results mindset person? So I started helping these mastermind groups get results, like the members get results every week. And they started calling me Chief Results Officer, right? Because they were getting something done every single week. And so I thought, well, I'll take it. I'll take that title. And then I realized that nobody else really had the title. So I went to the U.S. Patent and Trade Office, and you can submit to get what's called a service mark, a registered trademark, and then no one else can use it. So I have the registered trademark, which is the R with the circle, not just the TM, but the R with the circle, which means that no one else in America can be a Chief Results Officer unless they license it for me. So that is a long story, but that is how I ended up as America's only Chief Results Officer here with you today.
That's a great story, though. Like, does your son ever hear that story? Because really, it's because of him that you wanted to switch gears and change the path of your life and be home for him.
Yes, I tell him all the time he's responsible for all this chaos that has been created. But no, yes, he knows, and it was great. We had a daughter as well, so our two kids always kind of had me around, and I could coach the different things and kind of be there for them. But it also, I will say that the amount of time that generated when I got away from the have to do's of a job, that was a big change for me.
Oh, I bet.
And that led me to want to help other people do it. And actually now I have something called a day ahead, where you move from being, a day behind in life, which a lot of people are, especially business owners, to like behind, caught up, ahead, and then a day ahead. So now I try to live my life on the day ahead methodology, where I'm kind of, when I wake up, there's no to-dos. There's a few things like this podcast that I have to do for the day, but I try to kind of finish the days, start the day kind of already done. And it's a great way to live, I think.
I love that. Yeah, that is a great way to live. I mean, that's probably a good habit to get into. So before we start recording, and you mentioned this one, in the intro, hacking your head trash. I love that. That's like such clickbait, but I want to know what that means and how someone can go about hacking that head trash, because I kind of get it, but please explain it to us.
Yeah. So as a chief results officer, there's a few buckets of problems that most people have, especially business owners and people kind of living their best life. And one is like overwhelm and not enough time. So how do you compress time? Another one is habits, creating new habits, eliminating bad habits. But then the third one is this concept of hacking your head trash. So head trash are these kind of like garbage thoughts that don't serve you, that we all have. Now, it's very difficult to get rid of them all the time, but you can get them to be very small. And when they speak up, you can kind of, take the trash out very, very quickly. So there are these bad thoughts that you have, you're not enough, you can't do it. A lot of times other people will give you their trash. Social media adds to the head trash. The news media adds to the head trash. World events add to the head trash. Relationship, conflicts add to the head trash. So there's this constant addition of your head trash. And so what we can talk about now is, let's talk about some practical ways to hack the head trash, right? And so one of the big things I like to say is the solution to pollution is dilution. Right. So the solution to pollution is dilution. And like that old science experiment, if they had the beaker with a dark liquid, if you add the clear liquid to it, it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. If you add enough clear liquid, it goes from a dark color to a clear color, back to kind of clear and clean. And so when you begin to notice that you have this head trash, if you can pour in the positive, again, there's some ratio. Like for me, like a long time ago, it might have been like 10-1. If I had one bad hour of pity party, of doubt, of bad head trash, I would need 10 hours of positive poured in, to negate that. Now maybe I'm down to 3-1. So if I have a bad hour, I only need 3 hours of the positive. But the first thing to know about hacking your head trash is you've got to pour in the positive. The solution to pollution is dilution. You've got to dilute that stuff down. Now, how do you pour in the positive? For me, my favorite mentor is a guy named Jim Rohn. So he has this was, to date myself again, an audio cassette program called The Power of Ambition. But I listened to that thing like 50 times in a row. But I can put on a Jim Rohn program, and that's pouring in the positive, right? And you got to do that more than the negative. You got to over pour the negative out of there and dilute down the negative. The other thing is podcasts like this, right? What are positive inputs into your life? Podcasts, people, right? There's high frequency people and low frequency. There's like the time vampires and the people that bring you down whenever you're around them. But then there's the people and podcasts like this one that kind of bring you up, that talk about the possibilities, that believe in you, right? And so you want to be putting that stuff in.
Hey Dad, how you been? What's going on?
Well, not too much. Spring cleaning time.
Well, did you weed whack? Did you get the carpets cleaned? 'Cause I know Mom's all about that, so I want to make sure we're ready to go.
Well, I got the gutters clean. That's about it.
That's it? Well, when I said weed whack and all that and the carpet, I kind of meant like the MANSCAPED 4.0. It's a little more personal.
I understand, yeah.
Works awesome.
Have you tried this?
I have tried it and it works wonders. It really does, yeah.
Okay, this is pretty cool. And see, it comes with an LED light, and I understand it's waterproof.
It is waterproof. It works well. I tried it. It's a good product. It's a great product. I've tried other ones, and they're just so noisy, and they don't cut very well.
Wow, that's really good, Mike. Where do we get this?
Well, you know, you can get it at MANSCAPED.com. And while you're at MANSCAPED.com, you know that we got a code so we get it cheaper.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of a discount can we get?
We can get it at label-free 20, and it gives you 20% off the product, and it gives us free shipping. And you know, I've tried some of the other products there because they got these all new premier products. Like this here, it's a deodorant.
Now, is it for underarm or other places, or
Made it, you know, I tried, but it's for the underarm.
Okay.
That's where it's at. And you can also get it at manscaped.com. Same code. We use the code again. Label free 20. Label
we get
free
20%
20.
off and free shipping?
Free
as
shipping.
well?
I mean, how can you go wrong with that, right?
Wonderful.
Exercise, right, is a way that your body responds in a positive way. There's things you eat that give you energy, but there's also things you eat that bring you down, right? So it's this constant kind of pouring in. So that's the first one, is pouring in the positive. The second thing is that to realize. I wanted to create a new habit a long time ago, and it was the habit of taking a mind shower, right? So people take a physical shower most days, right? But how often do you like clean out your mind? Do you shower your mind? So what I do is I do start in the morning, and I prefer a 10-minute mind shower, but if I don't have a lot of time, I'll do a 3-minute mind shower. But I'm just like cleaning out the mind before the day gets going, right? So I'm
like
taking
meditation?
out the trash.
There's
Go
like
ahead.
meditation.
Yeah, so there's different apps you can use for the mind shower. So one of my favorites is Headspace. That's a meditation app, right? So it's breathing and it's thoughts, it's anchoring thoughts, right? There's a Christian one called Abide, there's one called Calm, there's one called Insight Timer. So those are all, free apps that you can use to kind of clear your mind every day, right? And if you start the day off that way, you kind of have a better vision for the day. And when you have a better vision for the day tends to turns out better, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. So pouring in the positive, solution to pollution is dilution. Then taking the mind shower every day, just a few minutes in the morning to kind of clear that stuff out and set up your day for the future. The third thing is this idea of you have to get your brain working for you, not against you.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to kind of take control of your thoughts. And there's a few different ways to do it. So there's one called affirmations. And then there's another one called afformations. Now, afformations are a little more powerful, founded by this guy named Noah St. John. But affirmations are like, I eat healthy, I eat healthy, I eat healthy. Now, if you say it long enough, you will start to eat healthy. Now, sometimes your brain will say, no, you don't. No, you don't. There's a bag of chips right there, right? But the affirmation can help you, and kind of that repetition will work. But affirmations, instead of just a positive statement, that's affirmations. I eat healthy, I eat healthy. The affirmation is when you form it into an empowering question to get your mind, this is a little bit of a hack part, to get your mind to start to help you. So if you say, instead of I eat healthy, I eat healthy, I eat healthy, you say, why do I find it so easy to eat healthy? And you pause for a second. Why do I find it so easy to eat healthy? And you pause for a second, and then your brain says, because you threw out all the junk food, because you don't have any in the house, because you started a new diet, because you put a healthy snack, right? I like fruits and macadamia nuts, right? So if I have those around, because I eat what's accessible. So I realize, what I need to do, because I started reading books about it, because I got a magazine about it, right? It starts to give you ideas that you can act on that actually pulls you in the right direction. Yeah. And it starts you to win what I call the battle of the brain chemicals, right? That's, you wake up every morning and are you feeling depressed or are you feeling excited? And a lot of that tends out to be, your brain chemicals. So anyway, there's a couple of things, some initial ways that you can kind of hack that head trash. The mind shower, the solution to pollution is dilution. Pour in the positive, be around good people, good food, and then use those affirmations.
I'm really big into pouring in the positive. So one thing that I do, and I'll just share it, I know I've shared this before, is if I'm having a bad day and I'm like, I can't shake it, like just sometimes you wake up, you can shake it off, just you do it. Your mindset is very powerful. You're not going to let it interfere with, the bad thoughts. But I will watch YouTube videos, like the motivational YouTube videos with like Joel Osteen, Tony Robbins, I will put that's what I put into my brain to dilute that pollution, because you have to actively want to make sure that you are discipline your mind to not feed into those bad thoughts, because like you said, you know, we're all going to have them, and it's really how we deal with them and how we actually manage those thoughts that, you know, come into our head.
Yeah, no, that is so perfect. And I like to tell people what you just said is so key, that you should create, I call it a personal lifter.
Yeah.
But in my phone, in my iPhone, I have a notes, and one of my notes is personal lifters. So those are links to those videos, like you said, right? For me, it's the Jim Rohn, but the Tony Robbins, you know, there's all kinds of music. Music is a great one. So I have a list of, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 songs that just get me pumped up. It could be like Eye of the Tiger or something like that, but 80s music, right? Journey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I like, but that your body, your brain chemistry physically changes, you know, when you have that kind of music. Now, I can use music in both directions. Like if I'm too amped up, you know, there's some great like focused classical music and ocean sounds and different things that can calm you down as well. But having that personal lifter list, right? I mean, there's a friend I can call if I'm feeling down, like that person's on my personal lifter list, right? So make that list of those things that kind of bring you back, that lift you up. Like you said, videos, music, could be some certain types of foods. You know, the other trick one, the other hack one there is to have a list, a short list of your greatest moments in your life.
Ooh.
So the greatest moments in your life, and if you will kind of close your eyes and remember that moment, like as much as you can, the sights, the sounds, the smells, all the different senses, your body will physically change. Like when I do that in a live setting and we all walk through that, the whole room gets this really cool kind of cloud feeling to it. But for most people, it can be like the birth of a child. It could be a wedding. It could be some big promotion. It could be, you know, some great, those greatest moments of your life. Relive those. And what's interesting is if you do that right before a stressful meeting or something you're going in where you need high performance, it'll help you perform at a higher level as well. It's another hacking of the head trash.
Wow, you're sharing a lot of great wisdom with us today. Where can people find you, connect with you, reach out to you if they're interested in working with America's Chief Results Officer?
You know, I'll just give one link to keep it simple, and that's BlaineTEDx.com. So BlaineTEDx.com. I did a bucket list item was to do a TEDx talk. So I did that talk. And it was about white table, what you think about, you bring about, but you can opt in, get the talk, then we'll be connected. You know, you'll have access to all my resources. And and that was a really fun talk. And I share in there a little bit of a mind hack, how to remind yourself of your current goal, the thing you're trying to bring about, how to remind yourself 60 to 150 times a day automatically. So that's kind of a cool little elegant mind hack.
Elegant. I like that. You guys, I'll put that link in the show notes, so don't hesitate to go click that link, check out his TEDx talk. I know that he is on LinkedIn because he is a top connector with over 25,000 first level connections. So you might want to go check him out, connect with him, and learn some more from America's Chief Results Officer. So we're getting a little bit close here on time. So before we start wrapping things up, I always like to ask any last words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to share. You've already shared a lot, so you could share more of that way, or it could be something different, whatever you want to leave with the audience.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that, you know, I wish I learned as early as possible the power of your own mind. Like that's the most important thing that you have. And it's not what happens that determines your life future. It's what you do about what happens. And we're one of the few beings on the planet that have this opportunity to respond to what happens. So don't worry so much about circumstances and what's going to happen, because that's going to happen to everybody. That's not what makes the difference. What makes the difference is how you respond, you know, to what happens, right? And I'll end with this. The bad news is that time flies. The good news, you're the pilot.
Yeah.
So pilot well, and really, you know, take control and make it a great day for yourself.
I love that. Oh my gosh, Blaine, thank you so much for all that incredible knowledge. So you'll have to keep us posted on any projects that you might have, because I'm sure you've got a lot going on. You're always doing something, accomplishing something, type A like myself. So you definitely keep us posted, bring you back. We can update the audience. Thank you for leaving all this great advice and wisdom with us today. Really appreciate it, because I think we gave the audience some good tools to work with for their mind.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.